Still thinking about the Maserati. So here I took the body off and I'm gonna start to do some tuning on the car. One thing I did notice, and tuning a car is kind of a process, so you really have to get in the mindset of, you know, like what you're really looking at. A car is never really done being tuned because you always learn something. So, you know, just looking at this car, a couple things jump out at me. First, when you first start turning the guide here, the wires kind of catch on the pod. So, I mean, it's a little thing, but I'm going to have to do something about that. Also, if you look at the back, at one of these, at the wire here, the red wire, what do you see? It's a tiny little bit black. Well, that wire is contacting the spur gear here. That's going to chew through the wire. So I got to look at that as well. Previously on slotted cars, what you would have is the wires would kind of be tucked in these channels. There's little posts here. Well, that's where normally, if you don't have a quick connect guide, disconnect guide, the wires loop under here, under the axle, so they don't touch the axle, because there's also something going on here too. And they go down these channels on each side of the chassis, and that's really nice kind of wire management to get the wires, you know, so they're in one spot, but they're not touching anything. So this is actually pretty concerning that, and you see the little black spot there. So it's definitely started already. I mean, the wire's fine, but I'm pointing out that it's making a mark there, and definitely something to consider. So, and the other thing is, and this is just about going to be impossible to see, but on the front axle, especially on this side right here, the wire is rubbing on the front axle, and it may be slowing the front axle down. It's certainly touching the front axle. That's also bad. You don't want anything touching this axle. You want as little touching it as humanly possible, so you can get nice free roll of the axle, because anything that is touching it, I mean, it's slowing it down. I don't want to overblow this, but it's definitely something to think about. So already when we're looking at the car here, in just a couple laps I've done, you know, there's already a couple things that come to my attention that in the process of tuning a car, you really need to consider. And just kind of looking at what the car is already doing, looking at the inside of the car, you kind of get a sense of that even already. So we're going to keep tuning this car, and I'm going to keep doing these videos. So this is what I'm talking about here. You can see, and I don't know if you can hear it, but when the guide is moving, this wire, this quick connector, kind of thumps around and is kind of moving back and forth. So what we're going to do is, I may remove the quick connector. So I don't need that on there. I'm not a digital racer. I don't need to, and I can solder. So I'm not worried about that quick connector being in there, because it doesn't have any benefit for me. So that's coming out. I can see that right now.